3-night stay, Circa Stadium Swim, my favorite spot. I will never stay anywhere else in Vegas. You can join us. We did basically this exact same trip last year, and it was so much fun. Join us this time, nationgear.ca, limited spots remaining. Dennis Bernstein from the Fourth Period covers the LA Kings, covers the NHL, Sirius XM, joins the show. Dennis, how are you doing?
That's a hell of a trip. Can I go?
1,000% you can. You show up, first round's on me. Even though the Oilers, Kings, I don't care. I will buy you a drink, Dennis.
Ty, keep hope alive. Your team won last night. You weren't too confident going into that game last night, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, I texted Dennis and said the Oilers are coming off a game where they beat the shit out of the other team and are playing the worst team in the NHL. I was like, they're losing, but they didn't. And Edmonton now wakes up this morning tied for the top spot, at least points-wise, with the Vegas Golden Knights. I want to talk, obviously, Oilers, Kings tomorrow, first meeting of the regular season between the two. One thing that stands out when I just kind of look at the surface numbers here of the Kings is that the offense has really struggled this year. How surprised are you that goal scoring's down?
Let's see. Quentin Byfield is getting paid $1 million per goal he scored this year. He's scored 6 goals, and he's making $6 million a year. And big picture, Ty, we were talking about like next year for this team. With Kopitar leaving, they need a 2C. If Byfield's going to play this way, they're going to need a 1C next year. It's not been good. The offense has really struggled. There's been some injuries. One of my guys, a guy who played, who I really like, I got to know, was Warren Fogle, banged up all year. He needs a stronger second half. Same thing with Trevor Moore, probably dealing with a concussion issue. It's mystifying, but it's not really that mystifying, Ty, and here's why. Right? This team has 1.5 defensemen that can move the puck. Brant Clark and Drew Doughty can throw a good stretch pass. The fact that Gavrikov isn't here anymore and Spence is not here, that's one of the symptoms of the struggling offense right now, and it's a tough stretch. Now, Ty, let's be real here. I've been joking about this, but if the Kings would lose tonight to Winnipeg, a team that's lost 11 in a row, and comes into your city with that media, boy, I feel sorry for Jim Hiller. All those questions from Gregor and Speck and Rashog about, wow, you just lost to a team 11 in a row. They're on the precipice, and then after Edmonton, they go home and play Dallas and Vegas. This is a huge stretch. If guys want to stay around, they better start winning games. But most of it's been offense because I think they have the 4th best defense in the league, and they have the guy who should be the starting goaltender in the Olympics, in Darcy Kemper.
So you mentioned like the blue line and all the other changes that have come to LA over the summer. Did you kind of expect it to go this way where the offense would be so underwhelming?
No, Liam, I didn't. And then this team's regressed. They're 15 points standing. They're on pace for 90. They were a 105-point team. And what did they do? What did Holland do? Like, what was the rap on this team when they played the Oilers last year and in other years? Not tough enough, not big enough. Corey Perry, Armia, who've been solid. Like, I graded out these guys. Armia got an A and Perry got a B. And then Dumoulin and Ceci. Well, you don't have to talk to you guys about Ceci, right? Dumoulin has been okay. I think what Kenny did, he overcompensated here, right? Too much size, too much veteran presence. And now you have a team that can't move the puck, that isn't scoring a lot. And you have, like, look at that lineup tonight. Now, I know, look, here's the other challenge with this team. Right? Their prospect pool. They have 4 forwards injured. Here's their 3 recalls. Taylor Ward, Andre Lee, and Cole Gutman. So you can't really hang this on as much as they want to hang it, some fans, on Kenny Holland. Rob Blake really didn't do a good job here. The team isn't a Stanley Cup contender. They have a shallow pool except for goaltending. They have a great goaltender in Darcy Kemper, 3 prospects. But Liam, Ty, the last time I checked, you play 1 goaltender a game.
Yeah.
How about some defensemen or forwards? You're going to have to trade one of these guys for it. And now, what's their chatter? Okay? Now you're talking about seriously trading Quentin Byfield because you can't produce at a 3rd center level when you're supposed to be the 1st center. It's been a really tough season. This team has been tied going into the 3rd period. They've lost 11 games tied going into the 3rd. You could say it's the scoring, but it's everything. It's the coaching as well. Like, they can't execute at the end. The combinations, the forward walls putting out at the end of games, they can't find a win games. And they've lost 15 one-goal games. You can hang it some on the players, but it's a collective regression by this team, organizationally wise.
So usually when a new GM takes over a team, he's got his, 18 to 24 months of, we'll say it's a grace period, right? Where he maybe doesn't have to be ultra aggressive and all these things. But Ken Holland is not your usual GM hire. This is not a guy who, he's not going to sit there and sit on his hands and go, well, we can miss the playoffs this year and I'll try again in the summer. Like, he'll be active, right? He's going to be trying to solve some of these problems in the next 2 months before the deadline, right?
Well, he moved out an unhappy Phil Deneau, who wasn't happy with his role. They have $8 million in cap space, so I assume he's going to use it, right? But I know they talk about getting forwards, but how about a guy who can move the puck on the blue line? But who are you going to move out? You can't trade Ceci and Dumoulin. You're not going to trade Drew Doughty, right? Mike Anderson's staying. Brant Clark's the future. So I would assume Kenny's going to be aggressive, try to get some scoring, because if Fogle and Moore are not going to produce at this level, which is underappreciated, you got to go get a middle six forward. You're probably not going to get a top six winger, because who's trading a top six winger? Everybody's right. The other thing, Ty, is like everybody thinks they're still in it. There's like 31 teams. The one guy who's probably sitting real pretty is probably Conroy in Calgary. He's got the goods to trade. They're not a good team, right? But everybody else, who are you going to go get? Panarin? And here's the other thing, and this is really big picture for this team. If you're Panarin, let's say, and let's go to the offseason, and they want to give him $11 million a year. When you look at the roster and you look at how they play, what talented player wants to come here and play in this system? There's a lot going on here, Ty. So, well, I think, can he be aggressive? Yeah. Look, Kenny's not going anywhere. Like, he's going to have a honeymoon period. And again, the work that Rob Blake did over 8 seasons, he can't undo in one off season. So I expect them to be more aggressive, especially if they still struggle to score, because they're right there. They're still there. The season isn't over. So maybe one big move could elevate them to the top 3, which they probably really have to do.
So obviously the Olympic teams were just announced the other day, and Drew Doughty is back on Team Canada. Could you just give our listeners a bit of an idea of how he's played this season?
He's played okay. He probably got that on reputation, Liam, to be honest with you. Drew has more shorthanded goals in the last 2 seasons than power play goals. One. He's got one shorthanded. He doesn't have a power play goal. Now, he was hurt last year. He played only 30 games. So that's what, 70 games? He has no power play goals. So he's been good enough. And look, in a big spot in a big game, would I trust him? Of course I would. Now, he might be the 7th defenseman, but I think the biggest thing with respect to the Olympics is he made it. So now he can, for the Kings fans, he can focus on playing better in the second half. But he's a gamer. Like, he also makes it now. But if you watch the game against San Jose, Liam, he has trouble with speed. How many times did Celebrini blow by him in that game? Took 2 penalties. He's having trouble with speed. So he's got to be spotted right. It's not the Drew Doughty who plays 27 minutes a night who won Stanley Cups. He's got to be spotted with the right pairing, and he's got to be spotted against the right line combinations. Because speed's really, you could see, although I still love the player, love his compete, he's certainly not the same Drew he was 5 years ago.
I guess last one for me, Ken Holland, when he came to Edmonton, was always, he'd never fired a coach mid-season. He fired 2 coaches mid-season in Edmonton. Yeah. Do you think Jim Hiller's safe this year, or could it get so bad that a coaching change needs to happen?
Okay, well, the last time a coach was fired here in Los Angeles, he lost 13 of 17. That was Todd McClellan. Todd's doing pretty good in Detroit. I don't think that's going to happen because there's not enough losing yet. They haven't fallen out. And here's the other thing, Ty. Ken Holland said that he made a decision after sitting with Jim Hiller to keep him. When you probably had 6 coaches who are more experienced and frankly better than Jim Hiller, right? Tortorella, Laviolette, your buddy Jay Woodcroft. I could give you 6, Bruce Boudreau. So how does it look when you say, this is the guy I chose over those guys, and then 50 games into the season, you fire him? The optics are terrible. So I think that Jim's tenure will last through the regular season, and they find a way to win in the playoffs, he'll probably stay because this team hasn't won a playoff round since they won the Stanley Cup. If they miss the playoffs, I don't see how he survives. I really don't. And if they go into the tank and have a big losing streak, and they could against the schedule, that's a really tough schedule here, maybe they make a change sooner. I don't see anything imminent right now because of the injury factor and the fact that they're so close to a play. They're in a playoff spot, but it's really tenuous right now.
And that's what. Sorry,
you go.
I was going to say, and that's what makes this game tomorrow so interesting, because I do think if I can put on sort of and go to an LA Kings perspective on this, man, if you can make a statement win tomorrow, maybe this is a game that can galvanize that group and kind of bring them together if they can roll into Edmonton and beat the Oilers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because I don't have them winning this game. They're too short-handed. You got, Andre Lee, Alex Laferriere, if Kopitar doesn't play, your number one center. It's going to be a tough go. If they do that, that is a statement game. But they had a statement game, Ty. They were up against Tampa with 3 minutes to go and gave up 3 goals in the last 3 minutes. A game against a really good team, and they blew that game. So if I'm a Kings fan, I'm managing expectation. You got to win the game tonight, Ty. Like, that's the crucial game. You're going to lose to a team who lost 11 in a row, is really, really down. You can't lose that game. You just can't lose that game. So, and if you do, then you could excuse. So if they won tonight and got blown out at Edmonton, you could, okay, Connor went crazy. Leon threw that. And I want to say one thing. That backhand pass that Leon threw last night to Connor, there's 2 guys that can do that. Just, I'm an LA guy. I love watching this team play. That play was just, and it's undersold. But when you see that talent, so when I see a play like that, I'm going, okay, this team that's that shorthanded is going to go up and beat this team tomorrow night. You're right, Ty. It would be a statement game if the Kings won.
I always, and I hammer this point home a lot, we are so lucky that we get to watch those 2 guys. And I tell the Oilers fans who watch, I'm like, you are going to remember this stretch of hockey for the rest of your life. Like Connor McDavid scored that goal against UC Saros the other day where he flies into the zone and totally undresses him. And we had Jason Demers on yesterday, and he was like, he talked about how he was doing NHL Network that night. He's like, we didn't even react. And I'm like, yeah, because for 95% of the league, that's the nicest goal a player would ever score in their career. For Connor, that's the 12th nicest goal he scored in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's a privilege and a pleasure to watch this player play and talk to him and stuff. It's just, just when you think he's done it all, he does something else, right? And then remember, he doesn't score that many goals. Okay, guys, watch me. It's like he's laying for criticism. And whatever the criticism is, he responds to it and overachieves in that area. It's great to see. And it offsets some of the other players you have on this team who really aren't playing well.
Yeah. No, that's definitely, I am not hiding behind the fact that this is right now a 2-ish line team. Yeah. And I even went saying that. Yeah. But Dennis, I know you're busy. You are the man. We appreciate this. The analysis was great, and enjoy the hockey this weekend.
Ty, Liam, always great being on Oilersnation.
Thank you. There we go. Dennis Bernstein, the Fourth Period, Sirius XM, does a whole bunch of stuff. The Fourth Period guys are awesome. So happy we have, we have Peñota on board. Dennis always says yes to us, even though he's one of the busiest guys in hockey media. 10 out of 10 stuff. And listen, that's the other thing I like is he's a guy who's in LA, obviously covers that team closely. Not afraid to tell it like it is.
No, there's no.
And that was eye-opening too.
No BS. No BS at all. It's quite good. And I think people in the chat actually quite appreciate his insight on what the Kings are all about. And I mean, you look at it and you can't really cover it up. They're second last in the league in scoring. And Quinton Byfield, 6 goals, $6 million. That's also like really good contract if you can get going again. Yesterday when we were like, who's the next Trevor Zegras?
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation every day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.